here at Zephyr Cove Resorts,
Anita.
just 4
My friend
miles away
Lauralyn's
from...
here with an all-new business, Art Mode Appraisals. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You have such a cool past being, you've just put so much into dance and fitness, and I know you've through all of that. And
yeah.
You've taken an amazing path. And when you were a kid, you were interested in art.
Definitely. I was always drawing and being creative growing up, and fell in love with art history my freshman year of college at USC.
Yeah, I had no idea. So now you have this. It's called Art Mode Appraisals. I mean, who needs their art appraised? I mean...
So a really simple reason why someone would need an appraiser is if they own a piece of property, and we're not talking about real estate, we're talking about, art or china or silver or vintage clothing, antiques.
All of that.
They own something like that, and they just want to know how much it's worth.
Uh-huh.
But there are situations where you would have to get an appraisal done by a professional appraiser. So if you have a collection or you have some belongings that are valuable, you would want to get an appraisal if you want to have them covered for insurance. So the insurance company would require that of you. Likewise, if you're dealing with an estate, you would have to have the entire estate appraised in order to know about the estate tax. And other situations which aren't so fun is divorce or bankruptcy, you'd need an appraisal.
That makes sense. I mean, do you need to be an art collector to have you come and appraise this, or can you say, hey, look at what's my Farrah Fawcett poster worth from the 70s? I still got that thing in the house. Tara hates it, but it's classic.
Right. No, you absolutely do not have to be a collector, and it could be just that you have a family heirloom that's been passed down for generations, and maybe it's a grandfather's stopwatch or antique ring, something like that. We can help you with. You might have found something at a flea market that you're wondering what's it worth.
That seems classic.
That is rare that it's true, but it does happen where people find things.
The treasure.
And then also likewise, just practical reasons, you might have a vacation home, you might be renting it out, and if you have property in there that you want to make sure is covered in case of damage, that would be another reason why you'd get an appraisal.
And then what about like the classic picture of the great-grandpa like over the fireplace sitting up there, like if it's a haunted house, the eyes cut out, you can look through them, right? That's like classic. That's the classic one I think of anyway.
Totally. And the first thing to say about having any art over the fireplace is be careful, because of course the fireplace is putting off heat, and if it's wood burning, it's putting off soot.
Right.
And so you don't want something that's valuable over a fireplace. But a family portrait typically has what we call sentimental value or emotional value, and that is one type of value. Totally. However, that might not translate into value on the marketplace.
Right, for the buyer. Buyer's like, grandpa.
However, there are people that what we call are looking for investment value in a piece, and so they're looking for something that's just going to continually increase and potentially really drastically increase in value.
Is that like you find an artist that's getting old, and you're like, when this guy dies, this thing's gonna be worth a lot.
It's sad, but it's sort of true too. Yes, that usually art value goes up when someone passes away. But we have found though that if someone doesn't actually love the pieces that they collect, that their collection can and does fall short of having a really growth in value. You want to love what you own and collect, and that makes you one of the best collectors when you actually love the pieces, regardless of any kind of
passion translates in everything, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, what is it like with art right now? I just feel like with artists in town and then abroad and then on social media, I just see that it seems like it's growing, becoming more popular.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of reasons why the art market is where it is today, and without going into too much detail, there have been momentous moments in the last 150 years or so that have changed the face of art. I think the reason why we are where we are today is because of the large escalating prices at auction. Art is kind of becoming synonymous with the luxury goods market. So people want their Louis Vuitton purse, they want their really fancy boats, and they want that big Picasso in their house. I will say also the other big factor is the internet, of course, because now the internet can bring a sale of art to someone who would never have had access to that art before. And lastly, I think the younger generations are so used to buying things online that we're seeing a growth in young collectors too that are used to purchasing that way, and so they're getting their hands into the art market as well. So it's a lot of growth.
Incredible. I'm so proud of you. Good job. How long did it take going through this? I mean, this has been like...
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it was quite the process.
Yeah, I have just different experience in galleries and frame shops. I've also interned at the Getty and the LACMA in Los Angeles. I studied in Italy for a year, and I have my degree from USC in art and chemistry. But this credentialing process has been wonderful, and it feels very much like the culmination of a lot of that, where I studied for a year pretty intensely with the International Society of Appraisers, and now I have my credential from the ISA, and I couldn't be happier with them, and really recommend if you work with an appraiser, I must say, you have to get someone who's credentialed.
This one right here, Lauralynn, Art Mode Appraisals. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We'll take a break and come back with your 7-day Lake Tahoe forecast. Keep it up.